Hey everybody, thank you for coming watch. So I've got a spring forecast for the southeast today. I know yesterday I did the northeast, so if you're watching this and you're curious for other parts of the country with the spring forecast, go check that out. That is posted, that is up on my channel. You can watch it anytime you'd like, so feel free to go ahead and watch that. But today in this video, we're going to be talking about the spring forecast for the southeast. So spring forecast meaning kind of what the temperature outlook is. We're not necessarily looking at, what precipitation we're going to be dealing with, but maybe on the fly we could take a look at, how high that precipitation rate is going to be for the month of spring. But we are really going to focus on these temperatures. So as you can see right off the bat for today, it is going to be very warm. Got temperatures ranging from the upper 60s here along the coastal regions to the lower 70s and the upper 70s and lower 90s, because we're getting to 2 p.m. and this is where you start seeing, like, I don't know, it's like 79 degrees off the coast. You've got widespread upper and mid 80s. Then down here in Florida, you're dealing with the lower 90s. It is not supposed to be like that. It is going to be a very above average few days of spring here. These meaning a very, a large amount of temperatures. And you can also see that, look at this. You've got a little line, a little boundary of warm air and cold air, with the cold air, with the one section of cold air here kind of battling this warm air here. And the way we can tell that they are doing this is because you have a perfect line, but separating basically the cooler air and the warmer air. And that also shows that there's an unsettled temperature pattern in that area. So if we were to switch it to the kind of the GFS model for, like precipitation, we would see that there is a group of maybe some showers and thunderstorms that will move through. So we could go ahead and check that out. So let me put this back to the rain and frozen precipitation here. And there you go. Right in that same exact area, you've got the cold air a little bit showing up a little bit farther northwest. But then here's that, like line of precipitation that was caused by those two air masses kind of battling each other. So we're really gonna have to watch that, for the month of spring. But that is really just gonna be it for that precipitation. It's gonna be very calm precipitation wise during the spring. So we keep moving this forward, and you can see this cold air cannot quite make it all the way down to Florida. I think if it made it all the way to Florida, the ridge would potentially be defeated, but it's still out there and it's still strong. You can see you still have temperatures into the lower 90s for all of Florida. You've got widespread 80s and upper 70s for the coastal region, the coastal states of the southeast. But I mean, this cold air is really going to make it a long way. It's going to make it all the way into parts of Mississippi and Alabama, maybe even North Carolina. So, I mean, we're talking about how far southeast it can get, not just how far east it can get, but also how far south. I mean, just look how warm this the Gulf of Mexico is right here. There's so much moisture in here right now. It's unbelievable. And it is just launching those temperatures northeastward. And that's why the Northeast has been getting so much warm air and, warm temperatures in the last few days, because in the last few weeks too, just because of this ridge it has nowhere else to go, so it pushes northeastward, and all the cold air is dumped off to the west. So, that is definitely a cause to why we're seeing so much above average temperatures in the eastern U.S. So, you can see that the cold air almost actually does make it to Florida. It's gonna get past the weekend. This region of the southeast, it's gonna definitely be weakened. I'm just not sure how much. But so far, what we're looking at is temperatures could get all the way down into the 60s for you guys in Florida. But remember, like today, it's supposed to be in the 90s. So a very big difference in temperatures right there. Excuse me, but we are definitely going to have below average temperatures kind of settle into the southeast as you're going to see widespread 40s and 50s. Looks like this is for Friday. So Good Friday is going to be a pretty chilly day for the farther north areas of the southeast. But you guys in the coastal regions, it'll actually be pretty nice because it'll be in the 60s and the 70s, so not too hot. But then here comes that heat again. You guys in Florida are still sizzling out there at a whopping 92 degrees. And we are really going to see those temperatures rise. But eventually, the cold air makes it all the way down into southern Georgia, southern Mississippi, and southern Alabama. But everywhere else, you're seeing 40s and you're seeing lower 50s, upper 40s, and then a little bit farther north. Look at this. I mean, I know this is a few mountain regions, but you're getting into the 30s. I mean, it's almost going to be like late late winter because this is not like it's overnight. This is at 8 a.m. I believe this would be Saturday or it might be Friday actually. But this might be Saturday. But then that warm air is finally going to return from the western U.S. and you're getting heat into Florida again, just pumping into the 95 degrees and then into the upper 90s. So not quite 100 degrees. That would be pretty crazy, but we are definitely going to have more widespread warm weather return around the 8th. So you can see a widespread 60s and 70s for most of the southeast. But then you guys in the coastal regions, you guys are still waiting for that warm air to return until it looks like, what would this be? I don't know why I think we had a glitch there because it said April 10th for right like here. But yeah, it's going to take a long time until like midday the 10th is really where you're going to start seeing those consistent temperatures in the 60s and 70s and maybe into the 80s. But that's going to really stay. And this is just seeing these 40s and 50s. I know this does reach into Florida, so maybe we will see a stronger cold front that could really weaken this ridge in the southeast. But I think that it's just because that these are morning hours. Because this is 8 a.m. and I mean it's not completely out of the ordinary that there is temperatures that are widespread 50s and 60s. I mean that's normal. That's definitely normal. It's just that compared to what we've been seeing, like now, I mean that's a big difference. 90 degrees and 63 degrees is a very big difference. So just something to watch there. Excuse me, I am very sick today. I don't know why. I have like a cold brewing. So I got a comment yesterday. I forgot who it was, but yeah, someone pointed out that I was sounding a little sick today. But yes, that's what I have. I have got a cold. But then the 11th, this is 2 p.m., and you're getting those temperatures back, and it's going to be very nice. I mean, I don't see any area on the map lower than 50 degrees out here. Even these mountain regions here, you guys are still in the 60s, got 70s, 80s. And then look at this. You got upper 80s for Kansas. I mean, so the central U.S. and the southeastern U.S. are going to get off to a bang for the spring season. But it's just going to be a bunch of cool shots of cold air, and then that warm air returns, and it's very nice. And then it's hot down here in Florida. It's going to be in the upper 80s and lower 90s. That's basically going to be pretty, not every day, but very often. And then you see another day where you have a well-defined line of boundary of cold air and warm air, but then that warm air is so strong that you're seeing everyone is in the 80s and the upper 70s. So that's going to be interesting to see. But here comes that line indicating that there's going to be some more precipitation. And let's check this out. And here you go. You got another line of storms maybe some showers and thunderstorms that can move through central Texas. But we'll see this move across the southeast, and then it will break apart, also showing that there will be a little bit of warm air left over, but it'll be mostly cooler air. So let's check this out. Oops, I did not mean to click on that for a second. Get back to this. And yeah, it's going to be colder air. There's going to be cooler air after that round of storms, probably around the 17th. But that, I mean, it's just going to be like, it's going to be 1.5 week of sizzling hot temperatures for the deep southeast. Then it's going to get a little cooler. Then it's going to get cool. Then it gets back to very, hot and warm. Then it gets to cool, then cooler. And that's basically what it's going to be happening. It's like a cycle. It's a pattern that we call it. So that's basically what's going to be the weather pattern for the spring in the southeast. And, that's just something that is pretty typical. You'll have weekdays where it's pretty warm and hot, and then you'll have weekends where, it gets a little cool. But, that's not a problem. And then you can see around the 17th, got temperatures soaring back into the lower 90s for central Florida. But then that warm air is really not going to leave. It's just so strong to the point where it doesn't have anywhere else it could go. And then you're seeing now temperatures that could get over 95 degrees in central Florida. We're really going to watch this area closely. I also want to point out, look at this. I'm going to make it green so it can really stand out here. But 98 degrees here in northern Oklahoma. That's almost 100 degrees. So you're thinking maybe the central U.S. could actually be a contender for the first area to reach 100 degrees. I do not think it actually has been hit yet. I don't think 100 degrees has been hit in the U.S. yet this year. But if I had to guess, it would either be central Florida, you can see 95 degrees staying consistent there, or right here in north central Oklahoma at 98 degrees. So we'll see. These two areas are really going to be they're going to be given the most warm air from this very strong ridge in the southeast. So it's interesting to see what how warm and how hot it'll get in those areas. But man, is it going to be? It's not going to be brutal, but it's going to be pretty sizzling out there. I'll tell you, it's going to be very hot. And then that warm front kind of stays, and then you've got widespread 60s and 70s in the night of the 20th. So that's pretty much the temperature outlook for the from now to the end of April. That's pretty much what it's going to be looking like. And now we're just going to look at some maps and information from the National Climate Center. Excuse me. So basically, what we've got here is a 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. This was issued yesterday, and this is valid for April 10th to the 14th. And just want to show you the key here. So above normal, leaning above normal is this like yellowish orange. That's leaning above normal, and then likely above is 50% or higher for above average temperatures. Now we don't have to discuss the below normal because there is no way we're going to have below average temperatures here in the southeast. So let's zoom in here on the southeast for you guys. And then you see that you do have temperatures that are going to be leaning above normal in around the 10th to I believe it was the 10th to the 14th. Look at central Florida. It's actually not bad. It's not, seeing those 95 to like 97 degree days. This is not showing that. This is just saying leaning above normal. It's looking like the heat, like the hot temperatures and not just the warm temperatures. They're going to be in Oklahoma and northern Texas. So it's very interesting to see that. I think maybe we'll have the central U.S. getting the first start of spring and not the southeast. So it's interesting to look at that. But you've got more consistent above average temperatures for like places like Arkansas, northern Louisiana, northern Mississippi, and Alabama. But it's really just a lot off to the northwest, and then off to the west here. You can see a lot of central and northern Texas in this above average risk. So this orange here, this is like 60 to 70% chance for above average temperatures. This dark red here, this is 90 to 100, and then this is 80 to like 90% for above average temperatures. You can see in southern Florida, you have complete normal temperatures. There's not going to be any difference in what the normal climate is for spring weather. So it's interesting to look at this. But just to take another look at the map here, you can see a lot of the southeast is definitely above average. Just a few areas are not completely like a lot above average, but they're leaning above average. So now we're going to look at just for the month of April. This was issued March 31st. And for the southeast, it'll be pretty warm. You see we have a nice sign here showing above average temperatures for the more, extreme southeast areas and not the northern southeast areas. This is including like southern states like southern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and all of Florida. You guys will definitely be at above average temperatures for the month of April. I don't think that's I don't think that's a question anymore. That's just something that we are going to see and something that's going to just be a reality for these, not just for this year, but actually for the next few years. I think we're just going to see so much more warmer temperatures because of climate change. You've got, you know, pollution. It's just, I know pollution is not something we talk about on this channel, but it still contributes to, maybe even the specifics, just that warm air, the ridge in the southeast. A lot of that could be because of pollution. We don't know, but, pollution is definitely causing above average temperatures, and some of these above average temperatures are caused by pollution. So, just something to throw out there. But you can see slightly less above average temperatures for the far northern states like Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, and then parts of Oklahoma and northern Texas. You guys will be in a little bit less than above average temperatures, but you'll still be in that range. Excuse me. So we're just going to move on now to the rest of the spring. So this is from now to June. And you can see that it's pretty much the same. What we've got is above average temperatures for all of Florida. You got Georgia, southern Mississippi and Alabama, southern Louisiana, and then this, like just like half above temperatures. This is, guess you could call it leaning above, is what they call it. That is going to be for Tennessee, northern Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and then southern Arkansas. Also, parts of eastern Texas, you guys will definitely have some leaning above average temperatures, but not consistent. So it's interesting to see that you don't see that dark red showing up here for central Oklahoma. So maybe that's showing you that there's that's like another way to look at how central Florida could actually be the first one to get to 100 degrees. Just, something that could indicate who's going to get the warm air the fastest, basically. So that's gonna wrap up the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys in the next forecast. But this is just your spring forecast. I'm gonna be doing these ones for different sections of the country. So the Northwest, the Central U.S., the Southwest. I did the Northeast. I'll do the North Central, I think. And then this one is for the Southeast. So again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.